Hello, and welcome to No Marks on the Floor, your new favorite film podcast. I promise you that much, even though it's our very first episode. My name is Toni, and I'm joined by Ville. How are you doing, Ville?
Good. Hello, everybody.
Before starting this episode, we have not planned anything. We're going to do this right in front of you guys and figure it out as we go. So, the topic is an article that I found from Screen Rant that is about the 10 cliches in horror movies that makes no sense. So I wanted us to discuss those 10 horror movie cliches and see if we agree that those are terrible cliches that make no sense, or there's something more to it.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm looking very much forward to hear your 10 cliches.
Right on. But before that, do you actually enjoy watching scary movies?
Oh, absolutely. I love horror films.
What type of horror? Because there's so many subgenres in horror movies that it feels like, you know, that in itself is something that you enjoy or not. But what would you describe the type of horror movies that you like the most?
That's a good question. I think the reason why I love horror films is just they have this cozy feeling in them, which is kind of like, it's weird, right?
No, actually, that makes perfect sense.
It does?
I think that is why we enjoy horror movies, because the danger is on screen and it's a fucked up situation for them, but we feel good about ourselves.
So we feel good about ourselves because we are not in that situation.
Yes.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So when you watch, kids in some poor country starving, that makes you feel good because
I love watching those while eating a big burger.
That's it.
Because it tastes so much better watching some poor kid not having anything. So, we're about 5 minutes in the podcast and we're officially cancelled.
Yeah.
Okay, horror movies.
Right.
You enjoy horror movies. You watch all types of horror movies.
Yeah. But I gotta say, when I was younger, I could watch very brutal and raw movies, like Hostels, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called body horror, where they actually showing people physically being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not entertaining anymore for me.
But it used to be when you were...
It used to be when I was younger, probably because of the curiosity towards that kind of films. But now when I'm older, I just don't want to see that. I want to just watch like cozy horror films like Screams or I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, stuff like that. That's very entertaining, I would say.
Interesting. I actually agree with you. Except for me, I never liked very graphic images.
Yeah.
I don't think I enjoy them much now either.
But are you not curious? Just like...
It's a bit of a morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
But thinking about horror movies, I like a very specific type of horror. And definitely not all horrors. I don't enjoy that much demons and exorcists and monsters. I much more enjoy, in a way, realistic horror when it's a situation that could actually happen.
Okay.
Unless
like
ghosts are real.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
I'm talking out of my ass.
Here we go. Prove that they don't exist.
So, speaking of which, let's check out those 10 terrible horror cliches. And we will decide if they're actually as bad as they say they are, or they make sense. The first one is never making sure the killer is actually dead.
So, they don't never check that they're,
Just kill the guy.
That's the thing. I think, once the film has pretty much established the tone of it and the rules of the universe, then I think it's completely okay and, courage to have that kind of twist at the end. Like Screams, for example. In that film universe, I think it's definitely absolutely okay to have a scene at the end where the killer is not dead because the guys didn't actually confirm that the guy is dead, right?
Yeah. Do you think in general characters in horror movies are stupid? They do make sometimes counterintuitive decisions. You hear a very strange noise from that creepy looking shed. Oh, let me go check it.
Yeah.
Well, no, run the opposite direction. Call the police.
Right. That's the thing with the films. I don't think the filmmakers are definitely most of the time, if not always, aware of that, right?
It's almost expected at this point. But every time it happens, I always say to myself, come on, man,
Are
run
you
properly.
Do you feel like do you get frustrated when those kind of cliches happens?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I'm almost yelling at the character, like, come on, do this thing, or don't go there, and they do it, and it's almost a little bit frustrating because
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes if we watch a horror movie in which the character makes great decisions and it's really smart, then I'm really sucked in, because I always think, hey, I would have done this exact same thing like this guy. If that doesn't work, now I'm very interested to see what is going to happen because I'm all out of options.
Right. But I think those are different kind of films though. Like I think there are films that can pull off having a character that is not always reasonable and doesn't stupid things. But I think that's completely okay if the film has kind of established that this is what it's gonna be. Like in my opinion. So if you would be watching, for example, Scream, which I think a classic slasher film. Have you seen any of those?
Yeah.
Right. So would you feel frustrated when you see a woman running in the film, chased by this killer, and then she trips off?
I guess you have a point here, because if I'm watching Scream, then I'm almost expecting it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. It's like if it doesn't happen, it's like what?
Yeah, it is that kind of horror,
going on?
exactly. As you say, you said something interesting before. You said cozy horrors.
Mm-hmm.
This is very interesting to me. How would you describe what makes a horror movie a cozy horror movie?
Yeah, I personally feel that the coziness comes from my childhood. So mostly the cozy horror films are the ones that has still film cranes, so they are like actually filmed.
Like the proper look from the 90s
Exactly, yeah.
or 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
The music probably as well.
Music,
I think that
absolutely.
helps a lot.
Music, absolutely. So I think it's most just like a throwback for me to my childhood, which makes them cozy. And this, very important to emphasize that in that case, there really cannot be a lot of gore and blood, and it cannot deal with too serious issues, I think.
Yeah.
And it needs to have a happy ending to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes it cozy. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, and that got me thinking about a very specific niche thing about horror movies that I highly enjoy, and sometimes I would spend such a long time trying to find a horror movie simply because I want that movie to have that specific thing in it.
Oh, really?
And what I'm
What's
talking
that?
about is basically the first 15 minutes of the movie when everything seems to be great.
Yeah.
And there's this feeling of doom that's coming, but the characters don't know it yet, and everything seems so perfect. The group of friends are going on a road trip, and they're in the car having a
that's
good
it.
time. I love this so
Yeah.
much. This
Yeah.
first 10 minutes when life is perfect, but you know it's coming.
Funny that you say that, because if somebody would come to me and say, Ville, here's 10 million euros or dollars, do whatever film you want to do.
Yeah.
That would be exactly the kind of film I would
No
do.
way.
Absolutely. That kind of horror film with teens, the basic, we got the jokes, we got the nerds, we got the chili or whatnot, and just lean on those stereotypes. I would do that not because I'm sure that I could make a very great film. I would do it because I know that it would be super fun to make that kind of film, right?
And that's part of what would make the movie fun. Even if you know that you're doing some cliches and some things that don't make a lot of sense, it doesn't matter because it's fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it would come across in the film itself that we had fun making it.
Have you seen Cabin in the Woods?
Yeah, I have.
That's one of my favorite
Oh,
horror
yeah?
movies.
Okay.
Also because it has in the beginning that exact thing that we
Yeah,
just talked
yeah.
about. It has that cozy feeling of it. But also I thought it was a fantastic movie in a way that it subverged a lot of expectations. It did a lot of things the complete opposite way of what we expected. It was very self-aware in a lot of the tropes of horror movies, and it was just really fucking fun. Now,
Right.
continuing with the article, number 9, opening the cursed book, playing the cursed game.
So that the number 10 is the least cliche.
I
Top notch.
imagine so. I
Okay.
really don't know, but I guess we'll find out if we start agreeing more and more as it goes.
Right.
Then probably it's in that order.
I feel like it is obvious that in horror films this kind of thing happen. I feel like it's the same as you saying that it's a cliche to tell your girlfriend that you love her. I feel like everybody does that.
Wait, people do that? Wait.
How long have you been together with Christina?
Christina, if you're listening to this, I didn't know I'm supposed to do that.
Right. Here we go.
Okay, but this is the thing. If we don't agree with the cliche, that means that it is not a cliche. And I would agree with you on that one, that opening the cursed book or doing the cursed thing or going to that room that you're not supposed to go, well, it's a support device. Otherwise, there would be no fucking film if you don't somehow start it.
Yeah, that's true. Why wouldn't it happen?
I would also argue that I can realistically see this happening often because there's the curiosity factor that we humans have. As in, if someone tells you about this very extraordinary thing, you would maybe want to check it out, right? Or you wouldn't believe that it's cursed. You'd be like, yeah, fuck off. Let me open that book anyways.
Yeah.
I would see that as realistic, and I would say that one gets a pass.
Fair enough.
Now, the next one is never having cell signal.
Yeah.
It is convenient sometimes, but that happens in more movies, not just in horrors.
Yeah, I was actually, that's so true. I was just thinking the same, that it's more like a film thing, and specifically now more than, like more and more, since now everybody has their cell phones with them all the time, whereas if you watch films before, I don't know, 2000, something like that, it wasn't that often, or like specifically like in the 80s, you know, you definitely didn't have cell phones with you, so that wasn't a problem back at that time.
This is actually a great discussion about how modern technology is changing a lot of the movies. I remember seeing something about Friends that if they literally had the cell phone to text each other, the entire episode would be ruined because it was based on them not being able to talk to each other or call each other or anything like that.
That's so funny.
Simply being able to text all the time maybe would ruin half of the plots of other movies and TV shows.
Oh, that's funny. Can you come up with an example?
There's this episode when Ross and Joey got stuck on the rooftop of the building.
Oh yeah,
right?
That's a
and
good.
then they tried to yell. No one could hear them. They tried to climb down by themselves. But if they had their phones, they could have just texted.
And they would have had their phones, right?
Yeah,
that's so funny actually to think about. Yeah, that's true.
So that entire episode would be ruined if they had a cell phone.
Do you like that, by the way? Like in text, like texting and using the social medias in films. Do you like that?
I think that they're still trying to figure out how to do it. Even though it introduces a whole new set of challenges when you're writing a movie, maybe it also introduces a whole new set of possibilities when you're able to reach everybody else with your cell phone.
I like the way you're thinking. You're approaching this more in the way that let's adapt to the new situation, and you're ready for the change.
It's a lot to think about, but it's very exciting to think about.
Sorry, I fell in my thoughts, but it actually is very interesting.
It is, but I would argue that the cell phone signal is a little bit of a convenient cliche. I would argue
with
that.
Everything.
And then I would say exactly that. It is also for a lot more movies than just horror. Moving on. The next one would be the cops. Are always ineffective in the horror movies. They either don't believe or are just plain bad at their job.
I just watched, I think it's called The Babysitter in Netflix. It's funny, like I think that's one of the films in Netflix. I came across the cover of the film many times in Netflix, and I always thought that like, fucking hell, this looks shit. Like this looks exactly the kind of, shit that they just push through just in order to make some kind of content.
Okay.
And after going, through the cover so many times, I'm like, I'm just gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna watch it. And
you just gave up.
Right. It's like I want to actually see what kind of shit this is, because I had so much prejudice towards the film, and it was great.
Okay.
I really loved the film. I really liked it.
What did you like the most about it?
It's a horror comedy, and I think it was funny. It wasn't scary, but I don't think it was meant to be scary in the way that it makes you feel anxious. It was cozy. It was a very cozy film.
This actually makes me wonder about something that I've been thinking about myself a lot.
Yeah.
All the time. Not all the time. But do you have hard time picking a movie to watch?
Yeah.
What is your process? Say that you want to watch a good horror movie tonight. Do you look at lists of top movies? Do you watch Rotten Tomatoes? Or how do you choose a movie?
Right. Actually, let me say, I have a hard time to pick a film if I just start to browse to watch some kind of film. Then I have a hard time to, watch film. But most of the time, when I watch a film, I have a specific film in my mind that I want to watch. And it's most of the time made before 2000.
Even the big movies? Would you watch a newer movie only if it's a big one and you know it's going to be good and it's going to be great?
At least I would watch a new film. Oh, I watch a new film if there's some kind of indicators that it's gonna be a good film.
Mm-hmm.
If I know, the guys or the people involved in the film, I would at least want to know that one. So there's some kind of indicator. That's why I don't think I would never watch in a film in any kind of like those platforms just because the poster looks cool.
Yeah.
I think. What about you?
This is something that Christina, which we established already on this podcast, my girlfriend,
Yeah.
she's so much better at this than me because
okay.
she's willing to watch a movie blind without
Mm.
hearing anything about it, knowing anything about it. And to be honest, she watches a movie blind that I have selected, and she will probably know it's good if I am willing to watch it, because I have such a hard time picking a movie to watch. But I am terrible at this. Sometimes I genuinely would spend half an hour or more trying to find a movie, and when I found a movie, then I watch the trailer, then I read reviews, then I go read discussions on Reddit. It's almost like I go through this screening process just to watch the goddamn movie. It's terrible. I really want to be better at this, just to be able to say, hey, I'm gonna check it out and just watch the goddamn movie.
What do you think that is?
I think it is because it feels such a precious, valuable time that, hey, it is Friday night and I can only watch one movie, so I really need to make it count.
Yeah.
And it has to be a good one. But it is so difficult to find sometimes a movie when, say, I'm in the mood for this cozy horror movie and I wanted to specifically have this first 15 minutes of life being perfect, but everything going great, terrible afterwards, and then the music has to be like that. It has to look cozy, and there's so many subjective things that I really want from this movie, and it takes me forever to find a new one, and then I don't find a new one, and I just rewatch something that I know it's like that. This happens way too much.
Right. What do you think? Which one of you enjoys more watching films, you or Christina?
I'd say we're pretty equal movie lovers, which is probably one of the reasons why we've stuck around together for so long, because we watch a lot of movies together. We do it all the time. And I think she enjoys them just as much as me. And I think since meeting me, she started watching them a little bit differently. Sometimes we would watch a movie and we would pause it and look at each other and just say, that was a pretty weird cut.
Oh, yeah?
Sometimes she would see that something is off, but wouldn't really know about it. And then we'll talk a little bit, hey, that actually the direction is really weird right now.
Yeah.
So she's trying to pay a bit more attention about it without even realizing it.
Oh, that's interesting. Do you then find it like, do you have a problem with if you're watching a film and Kristen likes it? There's like let's put it this way. You're watching a film together and there are like specific things that you don't like in the film. You actually hate those things in the film and they don't bother Kristen at all. Do you then feel like a need to explain to her why? Yeah, okay.
I'm that guy.
Yeah. That must be really
She would not
annoying.
hear the end of it. I would just shit on that movie and I'll probably keep pausing it so we wouldn't even be able to watch. You're the same?
I'm the same. That's why I'm saying that must be fucking annoying, because I'm the same and I always hate myself after doing that to my girlfriend, because it's like, fucking, why I do this? Like, why I cannot just let her enjoy the film? Why I need to be such a fucking asshole to push my fucking opinions? Who even cares? Like, who cares?
My god, this is so interesting to talk about, especially because, Ville, we need to realize this. This is actually a therapy session, this podcast.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
We need to acknowledge to ourselves, me and you, movies are subjective.
Mm-hmm.
And it is okay for one person to like something and the other not. But me and you think, no, this movie is bad, objectively.
I need to force my opinions.
And here is a PowerPoint presentation with 25 slides breaking down why this movie is bad, and you should feel bad for liking it.
Yeah. Good example, hey. That's so true. Good example. We were watching Gone Girl. I think it was a great film.
Yeah.
At the end, he finds that she is pregnant. And because of that, he's not gonna break up with her.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was just a fucking stupid ending. This woman is obviously a psychopath in so many ways.
Yeah.
And then just because you found out she's expecting your children or your kid, then you're like, oh, okay. Cool. Well, okay, I guess I'm gonna sleep next to her the next night.
Fuck my life, let me ruin it for the next 18 years.
Yeah, like, no, you don't stick together because of it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, he spent the whole movie hating her.
Yeah, and for a good reason.
Yeah. So, did you have that opinion and your girlfriend disagreed?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Yeah, sorry, that was the point. She disagreed.
Okay.
And I just got fucking frustrated because I just not wasted, sorry. It's a great film, so I didn't definitely waste. But I just used 2+ hours to watch the film, and I was just fucking loving it up until the end. And then the ending was such an, like, anticlimax, I got, like, annoyed very obviously. And then my girlfriend was not. She was like, oh, this was a great ending. And that got me even more frustrated. Like, and I want everybody to be aware that I'm completely aware that I'm being a douche here. I'm being a fucking asshole. But it just was my emotional, like, I don't know, human being emotion that was like, fuck.
Not to speak for her, but do you remember what her argument was, why she liked it?
No, I don't remember.
I think maybe being that frustrated at the end, maybe was the point of it.
That's okay. This
You're about to be like, you fucking idiot.
This is because I've been thinking about this a lot. The chances that I'm wrong here is 99%.
Hit me.
I'm gonna say it anyway. It's just like whenever I watch a film and it has that kind of ending for that reason, well, life isn't perfect, so why should the film have a perfect? It's like, fuck you guys. Life can be very fucking horrible. There's so many fucking sick, disgusting stuff happening in this world. What I want to do is I want to be entertained for the next 2 hours, right? So I'm going to watch this film because I want to take my mind out of those horrible things. And then you're going to give me this life lesson that life is shit. Oh, fucking hell, I know that already.
I already know that.
I don't want to... Oh, that makes me so fucking frustrated.
Hey, I want to get away from my shitty ass life for 2 hours, and you're gonna take that away from me?
Yeah.
Refund 1 star.
Definitely, unless the title of the film, unless there's like clear indicators that they need to make it at least clear for you that this is what you're up to. Like for example, Lars von Trier's films.
Danish filmmaker.
Yeah.
Fairly popular director, horror movie director. I just assume fair amount of people wouldn't know who he is. Trying to flex our film knowledge. Anyways, what about him?
I don't think they advertise his films in the way that, this is not gonna make you feel good. I try to do it less and less because I can see that my girlfriend thinks, and rightfully so, she thinks that I'm a pretentious asshole sometimes. It's like she can see that I do think that I have such a good taste in films, so I just want to show her films that she hasn't seen, and I fucking hate myself when I do that. Fucking A. Anyway.
I find it hilarious how strongly we feel something is correct when it is completely subjective. This is just hilarious to me.
Yeah, it is. It's so fucking funny. Like, it's just like, oh babe, you need to see this film because X and X reason. And then I show it to my girlfriend, right? After having that kind of pretentious bullshit talk in the beginning. And then I feel like at the end, she's like, just fuck with me. And I fucking love her because of that.
The opposites attract. And to all the girlfriends and boyfriends listening out there who have to deal with a partner like that, you're doing a great work. We appreciate you, and we're self-aware, but we just cannot help it.
Yeah. What was the line, the horror film? Cliché we were speaking about.
Yeah.
This hasn't to do, I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
No? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but...
Okay, question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think about Lars von Trier? Do you like his films?
I wouldn't say that he's my favorite, right? But I appreciate his movies because they're daring to experiment. He dares to try something unconventional and a little bit more interesting. Yeah. I highly appreciate that. I think every director who is willing to try something new, regardless if it's going to work or not, I give him respect. Even if it is or not for me, I appreciate experimentation. I love it. I respect it.
Okay, cool. I agree 100%. I love Lars von Trier's films because I feel like when I watch his films, it's like this is the way he tells a story.
Yeah.
And it just happens to make me feel bad. Whereas there are films that are like the ending of the film is purposefully made so that it makes you feel bad.
Unsatisfying ending.
unsatisfying ending just for the sake of it being unsatisfying, just to tell you that, you know, what you said earlier, that, you know, life is not perfect, so that's why we wanted to have, you know, ending that is not perfect. If you do it just for the sake of it, then it's just like, fuck this shit. Whereas Lars von Trier, it's just like, that's just the way he does films. That's how I feel.
I get what you mean. This is probably a bigger issue in general with films, when they do things just for the sake of it, regardless what that thing is. If it makes sense within the movie, or because the director feels very natural about it, then go for it, by all means. But yes, as you say, if it is forced in, you can tell it. The audience can normally see through it.
Right.
And if they don't, me and you will be there to tell them.
That's so true.
Back to horror movies, right?
Yeah.
We have only 2 left from our cliche article.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it would be a nice way to wrap up this beautiful conversation, if I do say so myself.
But are you sure? Are you just not skipping some numbers? Because
I am actually skipping a few because some of them just make no sense.
Can you say that out loud, though?
Yes.
I don't know what they are.
Okay, so this is number 1 that I actually don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Are you saying number 1 now?
Yeah.
Oh, don't say number 1. Please, let's go in the order. So you were in the 5 there when you passed by the exit.
This one is never listening to the pets.
What?
Now, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Is this number 4 now? Where are we?
This is number 1. I'm just like going.
Oh, you took the number 1 now.
It's just, what are they on about? Never listening to the pets?
That's funny. Oh.
Oh, okay. I think they know what they're... Okay, I see a little bit of a description. Oh my god, this is fucking ridiculous. They're talking about maybe if a pet is barking at something, and the pet is feeling a little bit, maybe a dog is feeling a bit uneasy, and they just ignore those signs and, come here, Lucky. Oh, it's okay. You know?
What was that number 1?
That was number 1.
This is like Gone Girl all over again. The ending was fucking climax. Yeah, we went to the number 1 and that was just... I don't even get it.
They'll be hearing from our lawyers about taking down this article because we unapprove of it. Are you going to have a little Halloween horror movie binge now that it is coming up?
Would you like to have one, Tony, with me?
Just us?
Yeah.
Just the 2 of us?
Yeah, just the 2 of us.
You know what would be fun?
Yeah.
We pick a movie.
Don't say bring our girlfriends.
I honestly feel the 2 of them would enjoy watching a movie by themselves much more than watching it with us.
That's probably true.
But me and you, we should pick a movie that we know we will hate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true.
And just devour it. As in, if it's an hour and a half movie, we would probably spend 4 hours because we pause all the time just to shit on it.
What would be that kind of film?
We need to find a movie that we'll hate.
Yeah.
We need to find that movie and just watch it for Halloween.
That would actually be very funny. Do you like that though? Like when you watch... Sorry, I'm just going to go completely off the topic. But like when you watch films, do you know that there are like... Do you agree that there are certain kind of films that part of the amusement is to watch it with someone and talk shit about the film while you watch it?
Yes. I much more enjoy watching a movie with someone rather than alone.
So you can actually talk about it while you're watching it, right?
It just feels nicer to watch it with someone.
Oh, so not even
but
so
also
that you
to
can
discuss
talk.
to discuss it, yes, to talk about it. But even if we don't talk about it and we just watch it, I just enjoy it much more if I'm watching it with someone.
Oh, okay. It doesn't matter who you watch it with?
Yeah, could be anyone.
So it could be actually like literally a random person as long as you have somebody to watch it with.
Yeah, this is so sad. But no, sometimes I've noticed...
And I mean it.
when my girlfriend finally has had enough of me and is traveling somewhere, visiting family or something, and I'm alone for a few days, right?
Yeah.
I don't watch movies. For some reason, sometimes I just don't enjoy watching a movie alone. This is so weird.
Are you serious now?
Absolutely serious. And you know what? I'm exposing myself because I'm supposed to be the film guy. I'm Tony's Film Club, right? And I know about movies. But sometimes... I would be alone for days. I would have free time and I could totally watch a movie, but I just don't for the only reason that I'm alone. And I just don't enjoy it as much.
Damn. So what do you do then?
Watch maybe YouTube videos, right? Or just anything other. But a movie, sometimes I cannot bring myself to it because I'm alone.
What about TV series?
Same. Maybe I might be willing, but there's just something about watching it with someone when you make a little bit of a snack, it's dark, you turn down the lights and put on the movie on the big screen and get cozy.
Yeah.
This is part of the movie, I feel like.
Do you? But I mean, like you can still do those things alone, right? You don't need to have somebody in order to have a snack.
Yeah,
Or
but
dim the
it's
lights.
just experiencing it with someone, I feel like almost elevates the impact of the movie. I don't even remember the last time I saw a movie alone.
Look at that. Okay, I have so many questions there, but like, do you always eat snacks while you watch a film?
Normally, yeah.
Okay.
It's like a thing. As in, I don't enjoy going out to nightclubs and everything like that. So for me, weekend night would always be a movie with a snack.
Right. Can you see that in your body? Because like I cannot see. You're very, in a good shape. Which I'm.
Well, maybe now it's time to mention I'm doing this podcast shirtless, and I'm not wearing any pants, and I'm currently curling some bicep curls.
Right.
Thank you for mentioning it, Billy. I've been doing it for 40 minutes now.
Okay, that's interesting. What about then? Have you ever been in film theater alone to watch a film?
Yes, and I am a huge supporter of this. I'll say this out loud. It is not weird to go to the movie theater alone. It's awesome.
It's very awesome. It's super awesome.
Yeah. So, big supporter of that.
Yeah, me too. I think it's actually a different experience to go alone to watch a film.
I would be much more willing to go to the movie theater alone
Yeah.
than watch a movie alone at home. But
Yeah.
yet again, you could argue that there are other people in the movie theater, so I'm still not watching it alone.
Yeah, and as you said, you would like to have a random people to watch a film with than alone.
There's something I want to ask you. Apropos.
Yeah.
Little Danish term for you guys.
Apropos, yeah.
By the way.
Apropos.
I think
that's
it might be
actually
international.
France and
Yeah.
international.
Way to make ourselves look even dumber.
Apropos. Just using the
Imagine
local
if I
language.
try to sound smart, but I'm completely wrong. I want to ask you about movie theaters.
Yeah.
Going to a movie theater,
Yeah.
regardless if you're alone or not. There's this room called movie theater. I'll tell you about it. This is going nowhere. Anyways, do you enjoy completely quiet movie theater, or do you enjoy it when people react and cheer or boo or anything like that? Which team are you on?
I have never experienced booing. I think you would need to go to a country where people are more expressive, like I would assume in States.
I think also that's very USA thing, as
Yeah.
in people are very vocal in movie theaters.
Do you think they actually boo?
Well, maybe not actively boo. I mean, I wouldn't know, but as in they would express if something terrible happens or something great happens. Or do you prefer that, or
Absolutely.
are you a guy who is like, no, just shut the fuck up and try and watch the movie here?
No, 100%. I'm with that. Like people, like if there's a horror film and
Yeah.
you can see like people go like, I think it just adds up to the atmosphere. It just adds up to the film. And the best feeling is when you go to watch a comedy, or like it doesn't need to be a comedy. But when you're gonna go watch a film, and then something that is supposed to be funny happens, and people laugh out loud.
That group
Laugh
laughter,
out.
right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's very
exactly. Group
satisfying.
laughter. It just makes you feel good. I really love that. Can I ask a question? I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that people in Cannes, like the film festival, they
Yeah.
actually boo the films.
Oh, that I haven't heard.
You haven't heard?
But
Okay.
I've heard. This is interesting.
Kind of get over
It might be true. I need to look into it. But something that I keep hearing about the Cannes Film Festival is that when a movie premieres there and it is open to standing applause, which is fine, right? Standing applause, very nice.
Definitely show respect.
The thing that I find slightly weird is that they would keep being longer and longer. Like sometimes they'll be like to a 5-minute standing applause, then they'll be like to a 12-minute standing applause. And I'm just thinking, people stood there for 12 minutes clapping?
and they do that, like the better the film is, the
Yeah,
longer
yeah.
they're standing. Like,
Exactly. Like if a movie is great and everyone loves it, they just have a standing applause for it. But they would just do it for a ridiculously long amount of time.
I wonder if that is the only way to show somebody that you like what they have done.
I'm gonna get real philosophical on you.
I also wish that if that actually would be the only way.
When did making noise with our hands became a symbol for liking something?
Oh, I like that.
Sometimes I get in those really weird thoughts, as in, why is film called film? Why did we decide on that name all the way back? It's just weird.
Yeah.
That is me. That is how my brain works.
Fair enough.
And I promise I'm not high. I'm drunk. Well, Ville, we've had a great conversation.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
we'll never see each other again. Imagine we do this podcast and we'll literally never talk to each other again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, Ville blocked me on WhatsApp. We had a great conversation.
Oh yeah, we did. It was very nice to talk with you again, Tony. I really love these Sunday talks.
Yes, Sunday Talks. That's
I
the
really did.
alternative name to our podcast. We talked about a lot of things. Our very first episode. We're gonna get better at it, or worse, or we'll stay about the same.
No promises. I would say no promises.
Absolutely no promises, no expectations, guys. Go in this completely open-minded. But that was great.
That was great. And if seriously, if there was anybody listening to this, I really hope you enjoyed, and thank you for listening. Thanks.
I'd say a closing remark is watch horror movies with an open mind. Don't be a dick to your better half about movies.
Yeah, that's true.
And just enjoy the process.
Yeah, nice, smart words.
This is Ville and Tony
Tito. No marks on the floor.
going somewhere and nowhere.
And nowhere. Thanks.